Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path is paved, well lit, crowded with people marching forward. There are signs everywhere telling you where to go, what to do, how to succeed. This is the path society has built for you. The other path? It's barely visible. No signs, no guarantees, just wilderness, uncertainty, and the whisper of your own soul calling you forward. Most people choose the first path, not because it's better, but because it's familiar. But what if I told you that the second path, the one without the map, the one that terrifies you, is actually the only path that leads to true freedom? Welcome to Ladder Up English, where we don't just read books, we live them, feel them, and extract every drop of wisdom that can transform your life. Today, we're diving deep into The Pathless Path by Thibaut Marisset, a book that isn't just about finding your purpose, it's about unlearning everything you were taught about success, happiness, and what it means to live a meaningful life. This isn't your typical self-help book, this is a mirror that shows you the cage you've been living in, built not by force, but by your own beliefs, fears, and the invisible scripts society handed you before you could even think for yourself. By the end of this summary, you'll understand why following the safe path is the riskiest thing you can do, how to break free from society's programming and design your own life, the exact steps to discover your true purpose and walk your pathless path with confidence. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's embark on this journey together. Because your real life, it's waiting on the other side of fear. Let's begin. Chapter 1, The Invisible Prison, Society's Blueprint. The Awakening. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Most of us aren't living our own lives. We're living a script, a blueprint written by parents, teachers, culture, media, and the collective voice of everyone else. Go to school, get good grades, land a stable job, climb the corporate ladder, buy a house, get married, retire at 65. That's the dream, right? Thibaut Marisset calls this the default path. And here's the kicker. It's not evil, it's not necessarily wrong, it's just not yours. Think about it. When you were 5 years old, did you dream of Excel spreadsheets and quarterly reports? Did you fantasize about sitting in traffic for 2 hours every day? No, you dreamed of adventure. You dreamed of creation. You dreamed of freedom. But somewhere along the way, those dreams got replaced. Not violently, quietly. Through 1,000 small moments where you were told to be realistic, to play it safe, to do what everyone else does. Marisset shares a powerful insight. Society doesn't want you to think for yourself. It wants you to fit in. Because people who fit in are predictable. They're controllable. They consume. They don't rock the boat. But people who think for themselves, they're dangerous. They create new possibilities. They inspire others to question everything. Mini story. The golden handcuffs. Let me tell you about Raj. Raj was a software engineer at a top tech company. 6-figure salary, great benefits. His parents were proud, his friends were envious. But every Sunday evening, Raj felt a weight in his chest. The Sunday scaries, he called them. That creeping dread of Monday morning. He told himself it was normal. Everyone feels this way, right? One day, during his lunch break, Raj watched a documentary about a man who quit his corporate job to teach children in rural villages. The man had nothing, no fancy car, no big house, but his eyes, they were alive. Raj realized something terrifying. He had everything society told him to want, but he had nothing his soul wanted. That's when he discovered the pathless path. The core lesson. The default path promises security but delivers imprisonment. Real security doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from knowing who you are and building a life aligned with your truth. Actionable takeaway. The blueprint audit exercise. Take out a journal. Write down the 5 biggest decisions you've made in your life. Career, relationships, where you live, how you spend your time. Now ask yourself, did I choose this, or did I choose it because someone else expected me to? Be brutally honest. This is where your freedom begins. Chapter 2, The fear factory, why we stay stuck. Understanding the enemy within. So if the default path isn't working, why don't we just leave? Because of fear. Not the fear of lions or earthquakes. The fear of uncertainty. The fear of judgment. The fear of failure. The fear of being different. Murasey explains that our brains are wired for survival, not fulfillment. Your brain doesn't care if you're happy, it cares if you're safe. And safe means familiar, even if familiar is miserable. This is why people stay in toxic jobs, toxic relationships, toxic cities, because the devil you know feels safer than the angel you don't. But here's the truth bomb. The only thing worse than uncertainty is the certainty of a life you never wanted. The 3 fear traps. The approval trap. We're hardwired to seek approval. Our ancestors needed the tribe to survive. Getting kicked out meant death. Today, you won't die if your parents disapprove of your career choice, but your brain doesn't know that. It still screams danger when you think about disappointing others. Murasey writes, "You will never be free until you learn to disappoint the right people." The comfort trap. Comfort is seductive. Netflix, junk food, the same routine. Zero risk, zero discomfort. But comfort is also a cage, because growth requires discomfort. Transformation requires challenge. Every caterpillar that became a butterfly had to destroy itself first. That's not a cute metaphor. It's the brutal truth of transformation. The what-if trap. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? What if I regret it? These questions keep us paralyzed, but Murasey flips the script. What if you succeed? What if you inspire others? What if you're more capable than you think? What if you regret not trying? Mini story. The cage with open doors. There's a psychological experiment where scientists put birds in cages for months. Then one day they open the cage doors. Most birds don't fly out. They stay inside, pecking at the same spot, even though freedom is literally 2 feet away. Why? Because the cage became familiar, safe, known. You're not trapped in your life. You're comfortable in your cage, and that's 1,000 times more dangerous. The core lesson. Fear isn't your enemy. Unquestioned fear is. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. It's to act despite fear. To walk forward with trembling hands and a pounding heart. Because on the other side of fear, that's where your real life begins. Actionable takeaway. The fear reversal technique. Write down your biggest fear about leaving the default path. Now write, what if the opposite is true? For example, fear. What if I fail? Reversal. What if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams? Fear. What if people judge me? Reversal. What if the right people admire my courage? Train your brain to see possibility, not just danger. Chapter 3. The Search for Meaning. Your Internal Compass. Finding what's worth fighting for. Okay, you've realized the default path isn't yours. You've confronted your fears. Now what? This is where most people get stuck, because freedom without direction is just chaos. You need a compass. Not society's compass. Your compass.
Murasey introduces a profound concept. Your purpose isn't something you find, it's something you build. We've been sold this myth that purpose is like a treasure chest buried on a desert island. Just find it, dig it up, and boom, your life has meaning. But that's not how it works. Purpose isn't discovered, it's created through experimentation, curiosity, and following what makes you feel alive. The 3 questions that change everything. Murasey offers 3 powerful questions to uncover your internal compass. 1. What would I do if money didn't exist? Remove the financial pressure. What would you do with your time? What problems would you solve? What would you create? Your answer reveals what you actually value, not what society tells you to value. 2. What breaks my heart? What injustice, suffering, or problem in the world makes you genuinely angry or sad? Your pain points toward your purpose, because the things that hurt you reveal what you care about deeply. 3.
What feels like play to me but work to others? Some people love organizing, others love teaching, others love building with their hands. What activity makes you lose track of time? What do people ask you for help with? That's your genius zone. Mini story: the baker who found freedom. Sarah was a lawyer, successful by all accounts, but every weekend she baked bread. Not because she had to, because it brought her joy. She'd spend hours kneading dough, experimenting with recipes, bringing loaves to friends. They'd say, "Sarah, you should sell this." She'd laugh, "That's crazy, I'm a lawyer." But one day, after a particularly soul-crushing case, Sarah asked herself Marishi's first question: what would I do if money didn't exist? The answer was immediate: bake. She didn't quit her job overnight. She started small, baked on weekends, sold at local markets, built a tiny following. 2 years later, she owned a small bakery. Her income was half of what she made as a lawyer, but her joy? Immeasurable. The core lesson: your purpose isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's not "I'm a writer" or "I'm an entrepreneur." It's "I create, I help, I build." Purpose is about how you show up in the world, not what title you have. Actionable takeaway: the curiosity experiment. For the next 30 days, try one new thing every week that sparks your curiosity. Take a cooking class, learn an instrument, volunteer, write a blog post. Don't judge yourself, don't worry about being good, just explore. Your pathless path emerges through action, not overthinking. Chapter 4: the courage to start, taking the first step, from dream to reality. You've identified your compass, you know what direction feels right. But now comes the hardest part: actually starting. This is where dreams die, not because people don't want them badly enough, but because the gap between vision and reality feels impossibly wide. Marishi teaches something radical: you don't need a plan, you need a first step. Most people never start because they're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect resources. But perfection is procrastination in disguise. The bridge building metaphor. Imagine you need to cross a river, but there's no bridge. You can stand on the shore for years drawing blueprints for the perfect bridge, or you can put one stone in the water, then another, then another. At first, it looks like nothing, but stones accumulate, and before you know it, you've built a path across. Your pathless path is built one stone at a time. The 2 types of action. Marishi distinguishes between 2 types of action. 1. Massive action. The myth. Society glorifies the dramatic leap. Quit your job, sell everything, move to Bali. These stories are exciting, but they're also rare, and they often leave out the years of small steps that came before the big leap. 2. Consistent action. The reality. This is less sexy, but infinitely more powerful. Small, daily actions that compound over time. Write 200 words a day, make 1 sales call, create 1 piece of content, learn 1 new skill. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Mini story: the man who built a school with 1 brick. In a rural village, a man named Kumar dreamed of building a school, but he had no money, no connections, no support. So he started with 1 brick, literally. He saved money from his farm work and bought 1 brick, then another, then another. People laughed at him. "You'll never finish." But Kumar didn't listen. Every month, a few more bricks. Every year, a few more walls. 15 years later, the school stood complete. Children learned there, lives changed there. And it all started with 1 brick. The core lesson: action creates clarity, waiting creates doubt. You won't figure out your path by thinking, you'll figure it out by walking. Start messy, start imperfect, start scared, just start. Actionable takeaway: the 1% rule. Commit to making just 1% progress every single day toward your pathless path goal. What's 1%? Tiny, almost insignificant, but 1% daily compounds to 37 times improvement in a year. Write down 1 small action you can take today, not tomorrow, today. Then do it. Chapter 5: the Valley of Doubt, surviving the middle. When the path gets dark, here's what nobody tells you about leaving the default path. It gets worse before it gets better. You'll have moments, days, weeks, sometimes months, where you question everything. Did I make the right choice? Am I delusional? Maybe I should just go back to my old life. These are valid questions. Maharishi calls this the valley of doubt. And it's not a sign you're on the wrong path, it's a sign you're on the right one. Why the valley exists: when you leave the default path, you lose your external validation. No boss praising you, no paycheck confirming your worth, no social proof that you're successful. All you have is your internal compass. And trusting yourself after a lifetime of trusting others, that's terrifying. But here's the secret. Everyone who's ever done anything meaningful has walked through this valley. The artists, the entrepreneurs, the change makers, they all had moments where they wanted to quit. The difference, they didn't. The 3 valley survival tools. 1. Reframe failure as feedback. Every setback is data. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times to create the light bulb. He discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work. Maharishi writes, there are no failures, only experiments. 2. Build a lighthouse squad. Surround yourself with people who believe in your vision. Not people who tell you what you want to hear, but people who remind you why you started. These are your lighthouses. They guide you when you can't see the shore. 3. Celebrate micro wins. Big wins are rare. Micro wins are daily. Finished a difficult task? Celebrate. Made one sale? Celebrate. Learn from a mistake? Celebrate. Joy is fuel. Don't wait for success to be happy. Be happy on the path. Mini story. The marathon runner's wall. Every marathon runner knows about the wall, that point around mile 20 where your body screams to stop, your legs burn, your mind begs you to quit. Amateur runners hit the wall and stop. Professional runners hit the wall and keep running. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because they know the wall is temporary. On the other side is the finish line. Your valley of doubt is your mile 20. Keep running. The core lesson. Doubt is not evidence, it's interference. Your brain will sabotage you with fear disguised as rational thinking. Don't believe every thought you think. Most of them are just old programs running in the background. Trust your compass, trust the process, trust yourself. Actionable takeaway. The evidence journal. When doubt creeps in, open your journal and write down evidence that you're on the right path. Small wins, moments of joy, feedback from others, progress, no matter how tiny. Your brain focuses on problems. Your journal reminds you of proof. Chapter 6. The authentic self, living in alignment. Becoming who you were meant to be. You've started walking your pathless path. You've survived the valley of doubt. Now comes the most beautiful part, becoming yourself. Not the version of you that pleases others, not the version that fits in, the real you. Maurice explains that most people spend their entire lives performing, wearing masks, playing roles. The good employee, the dutiful child, the perfect partner. These aren't necessarily bad, but when the masks become your identity, you lose yourself. The death of the false self. To live authentically, you must let your false self die. This sounds dramatic, but it's true. The person you've been pretending to be, they have to go. And here's the painful part. People will mourn that version of you. They'll say you've changed with disappointment in their voice. Good. You're supposed to change. Change means growth. Maurice writes that the people who love the real you will celebrate your evolution. The people who loved your mask will resist it. Let them resist. You're not here to be everyone's comfort zone. The alignment test. How do you know if you're living authentically? Ask yourself, do my actions reflect my values? Am I proud of how I spend my time? Do I feel energized or drained by my daily life? Am I being honest, even when it's uncomfortable? Authentic living isn't about perfection. It's about congruence. When your inside matches your outside. Mini story. The artist who stopped apologizing. Priya was a painter, but whenever someone asked about her art, she'd downplay it. Oh, it's just a hobby. I'm not that good. Why? Because she was taught that art wasn't a real career, that dreaming was foolish. One day, a stranger saw her work and said, "This is stunning. Why do you apologize for your gift?" Priya froze. She realized she'd spent years shrinking herself to make others comfortable. That day, she made a decision. No more apologizing, no more hiding. She started calling herself an artist, out loud with confidence. She raised her prices. She shared her work boldly. Not everyone liked the new Priya. Some friends faded away. But the right people, collectors, fellow artists, true supporters, they found her. Because the world doesn't reward hiding, it rewards authenticity. The core lesson. Your unique weirdness is your superpower. The things that make you different aren't flaws. They're your fingerprint, your signature. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs the original you. Actionable takeaway. The permission slip exercise. Write yourself a permission slip. Yes, literally. I, your name, give myself permission to be fully myself, to pursue my dreams, to disappoint people who don't support my path, to take up space, to be unapologetically me. Sign it. Keep it somewhere visible. Read it whenever you doubt yourself. You don't need anyone's permission to live your life, but sometimes you need to give yourself permission. The Pathless Path by T-Bot Maurice. Frequently Asked Questions, FAQ. Everything you need to know about this life-changing book. Basic questions. Question 1. What is the Pathless Path about? The Pathless Path is about breaking free from society's expectations and designing your own life. The book explains why we follow paths that don't fulfill us, how to discover what truly matters to you, and how to build a life based on your values, not others' expectations. Think of it as a practical guide to escaping the default life and creating your own definition of success. Question 2. Who is T-Bot Maurice? T-Bot Maurice is a personal development author and founder of whatisbestnext.com. He's written multiple books on self-discipline, goal setting, mindset transformation, personal productivity. His writing style is clear, practical, and action-oriented. No fluff, just strategies you can apply immediately. Question 3. Who should read this book? You should read The Pathless Path if you feel stuck in a career that doesn't fulfill you, follow rules that don't make sense anymore, wonder, is this all there is to life? Want to pursue your passion but feel scared, care too much about what others think, feel like you're living someone else's dream, want to design your life on your own terms. This book is for anyone ready to question everything and start over. Question 4. How long does it take to read? The book is approximately 150 to 200 pages, depending on the edition. Reading time. Fast reader, 2 to 3 hours. Average reader, 4 to 5 hours. Slow, thoughtful reader, 6 to 8 hours. But here's the key. Don't rush it. This isn't a novel. It's a manual for your life. Take notes, reflect, do the exercises. Question 5. Is this book like The 4-Hour Workweek or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck? Similar themes, different approach. Like The 4-Hour Workweek. Questions conventional career paths, promotes lifestyle design, focuses on freedom and autonomy. Like The Subtle Art, challenges society's definition of success, emphasizes choosing your values, uses straight talk without sugarcoating, but different because more practical and action-oriented, less focused on travel or location independence, more about internal transformation than external hacks. Core concepts. Question 6. What is the default path?
The default path is the life script society hands you. 1. Go to school. 2. Get good grades. 3. Go to college. 4. Get a stable job. 5. Work 40 years. 6. Retire at 65. 7. Enjoy your golden years. The problem, this path was designed during the Industrial Revolution, when jobs were stable and pensions were guaranteed. Today, jobs disappear, pensions don't exist, and following this path often leads to a midlife crisis. The default path isn't evil, it's just outdated. Q7. What does pathless path actually mean? Great question. This confuses many people. Pathless path doesn't mean having no direction, being lazy or aimless, rejecting all structure, living on a beach doing nothing. Pathless path means creating your own definition of success, designing life based on your values, following curiosity instead of security, building a unique path, not copying others. Think of it like this: default path equals following a map someone else drew. Pathless path equals creating your own map as you walk. Q8. What's the main message of the book? The main message is simple but powerful. You don't have to live the life others expect. You can design your own. Specifically, society's definition of success is arbitrary. You can choose different rules. Fear is normal, but it shouldn't stop you. Small steps compound into massive change. Your unique path is built through experimentation. Bottom line, you have more freedom than you think. Use it. Q9. Does the book offer practical steps or just philosophy? Both, and that's what makes it powerful. Philosophy, 30%. Why the default path exists, how society programs us, why fear keeps us stuck. Practical steps, 70%. Self-assessment exercises, questions to uncover your values, action plans to start your transition, strategies to overcome fear, daily habits for staying on track. Miros doesn't just inspire you, he gives you tools. Application questions. Q10. Do I have to quit my job to follow the pathless path? No, absolutely not. This is the biggest misconception. Following your pathless path might mean staying in your job but changing your mindset, pursuing passion projects on the side, shifting to a different role in your company, building something slowly before quitting, or redefining what success means to you. The book emphasizes start where you are, small steps, test ideas. Quitting your job immediately is often reckless, not brave. Grand conclusion: the map you create by walking. Your pathless path awaits. Let's come back to where we started, that fork in the road. The paved path, the wild path. By now you understand something profound. The pathless path isn't about having no direction. It's about creating your own. Thibaut Marish didn't write this book to give you his path. He wrote it to inspire you to walk yours. Because here's the ultimate truth. There is no single path to a meaningful life. Not mine, not his, not the gurus, not the influencers. There's only your path. And it reveals itself one step at a time. The 7 sacred truths of the pathless path. Let me leave you with 7 truths that will anchor you on this journey. 1. Society's blueprint is not your destiny. You were not born to fit into someone else's box. You were born to build your own world. The default path isn't wrong, it's just not yours, and recognizing that is the first act of courage. 2. Fear is the gatekeeper, not the enemy. Every meaningful path requires you to face fear, not once, but again and again. But fear isn't a stop sign. It's a sign you're growing. It's proof you're leaving the comfort zone where dreams go to die. 3. Purpose is built, not found. Stop waiting for a lightning bolt of clarity. Start experimenting, start creating, start doing. Your purpose emerges through action, through trying, through failing, through learning. It's messy, it's non-linear, it's beautiful. 4. Small steps compound into miracles. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. One conversation, one skill, one project, one brave choice. Those tiny stones build the bridge across the river. 5. The valley of doubt is temporary. When you feel lost, remember, this is not evidence you failed. This is evidence you're in the middle. The middle is always the hardest, but quitting in the middle guarantees you'll never reach the other side. 6. Authenticity is your competitive advantage. In a world of copycats and conformists, the most radical thing you can do is be yourself. Your quirks, your perspective, your unique voice, that's what the world needs. Not another version of someone else, the original you. 7. The path appears as you walk it. You'll never have all the answers before you start. The path reveals itself because you're walking. Trust the process, trust the journey, trust yourself.
A final story. The Lighthouse Keeper. There's an old legend about a lighthouse keeper on a remote island. Every night, he'd light the beacon, guiding ships safely to shore. He never met the captains, never heard their thanks, but he knew his light mattered. One stormy night, the keeper felt despair. Does anyone even see my light? Does it matter? Years later, on his deathbed, sailors from around the world came to visit. Hundreds of them. "You saved my life," they said. "Your light guided me home." The keeper wept. He'd never known the impact of his faithful work. You are that lighthouse keeper. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you light a beacon. Every time you walk your pathless path, you give others permission to walk theirs. You may never know whose life you change, but trust me, you will change lives. Because courage is contagious, authenticity is magnetic, and your journey matters. Your next step starts now. So here we are, the end of this summary, but the beginning of your story. You have a choice right now. Close this video and go back to the default path. Or take one brave step toward the pathless path that's calling your name. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a project you've been delaying. Maybe it's a dream you've been dismissing as impossible. Whatever it is, do it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the world doesn't need more people following the safe path. The world needs you, brave, authentic, fully alive you, walking your pathless path with courage and conviction. The Ladder Up English Promise. Here at Ladder Up English, we don't just summarize books, we extract the wisdom that transforms lives. If this summary moved you, challenged you, or inspired you, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this message with more people who need it. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one step you're going to take this week toward your pathless path? Let's build a community of pathfinders together. Share this video with someone who's stuck at that fork in the road. Sometimes all we need is permission to be brave. You could be the person who gives them that gift. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Ladder Up English and hit the notification bell, because every week we're climbing higher together. One book, one lesson, one transformation at a time. The final cinematic scene. Picture this, you, 10 years from now, sitting on a porch, watching the sunset. Someone younger asks you, "How did you build this life?" And you smile. Not because it was easy, but because you had the courage to choose the pathless path. You tell them, "I stopped following everyone else's map, and I started creating my own." That future, it starts with the choice you make right now. So go, walk your path, light your beacon, become yourself. The world is waiting for your unique light. And remember, you're not lost. You're on the pathless path. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. This is Ladder Up English, reminding you, the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. Let's climb higher, together.